Yo people, it's your girl Laughter. Welcome back to my mini home setup inside my studio. For the track that I'm about to show you, I recorded it, mixed it and mastered it right here, and it sounds dope. It's literally my first proper master, so I'm excited to share with you exactly how I did it. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do in a master is literally use this test oscillator that's actually in Logic. So you just go into the plugin section here, go to utility, and you find it there. Go stereo, because obviously you would have set up your own stereo channel and imported your WAV track into the Logic. The test oscillator is good because it takes away something called pink noise. This noise that we may not hear, but it exists in the track and it creates this like fuzziness in the track. So we want to get rid of that in the master because everything in the master becomes heightened. So I'm going to play it. It's going to sound really annoying, but I'm going to show you how I did it. That's what you're going to hear. Okay, for the sake of this video, make sure you've got the match EQ loaded as well. Okay, the way you find this is literally go into your plugins, EQ section, match EQ, and select the stereo track here. So let's get both of these up and I'm going to show you how you do it. I've selected the pink noise. You can literally choose what you want to select here, but for me the pink noise is what stands out and it's what I'm going to get rid of. And what I'm going to do with this match EQ is literally get it to pick up the signals, learn it, so that we can get rid of it. Okay, so let's learn. You can see it's created this kind of line here, this pink line. Go to EQ curve, match. Okay. You can, as soon as you found it and the actual EQ has learnt it, you can get rid of that test oscillator by just literally turning it off. So it would have learnt it here, matched it. There we go. So it's too pluggy. Great. Now it's gonna sound as if it's like muddy. It's too pluggy. So it sounds distorted right now. All you do is use this area here and just fix it again. Fix it to taste. And you would literally choose it to taste how loud you want it. I wouldn't start with turning it up loud. Me personally, I'd literally just have it at 4. I wouldn't really go any higher than that, even lower than that, to be honest, because you're about to boost everything up in the master. Wait, no, you were just dragging. Straight me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. You can hear how clean it is already. It's crisp, but this already is concerning me. We can see that it's clipping. That means it's going to be distorting, but we're going to fix it throughout the master. Also, what you want to do in the master, if you press Z, zoom in, you want to go to the loudest parts of the track to assess what you're going to do, because if you go to the lowest part and start boosting everything, you're like, yeah, this is sick. Next minute, when you listen back to the whole track, all the loudest parts are going to be distorted. So save yourself some time and go with the loudest parts, and you kind of see it here really loud, here it goes quieter, here it goes quieter. So okay, I added another EQ by Waves. This is called the F6, and I took out some of the lower end, some of the higher end parts, and turn up some bits that I wanted. Love my bills, I love my spill, that's my wish goodbye, my heart broke, but I keep showing love from my heart, so I'm still screaming for love. Yeah. On my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagined I was living half-hearted in a cabin. One about stab. So literally this EQ again is just to turn up any frequencies you particularly want to. Parts of it you wouldn't turn up too much at all. As you can see, I've literally barely turned anything up. In fact, I've actually taken away some parts. Okay, then I added, again, all these plugins, by the way, are by Waves, only the first 2 that you can actually find in Logic. I added this Paz meter here. It just controls the peaks, and what's nice about this is you can actually determine how you want the weight of the track to sound. If you want it straight, or you want the vocals to kind of really be out in your face. Build a small wish goodbye, my heart broke, but I keep showing love from my heart, so I'm still screaming for love. Okay, and here you can control for other things as well, but I went with the peaks here. And I kind of kept it straight. It could have I could have gone louder, but again, I'm trying to build up. Okay, when you play around with it at home in your own studio, you'll hear the slight differences it's doing to the track. So we'll keep it straight for this one. I also use this other Paz analyzer for the stereo. This plugin is quite sick actually, because if you like certain frequencies, you can actually freeze it so it kind of, the track will match it. So if you like the sound of your voice in a particular area, if you press freeze in that, kind of your vocals will stay on that level, okay? But remember, for a good master, your mix has to be on point, like, because the master is just gonna amplify anything you did in the mix. So you don't want to have a rough mix and then go to the master because you're rushing it. A master makes a massive difference. It does really crisp up the track. But if you have a great enough mix, you probably don't even need to master it. I just wanted to do it for this track, and I really enjoyed it. Literally, I'm going to show you how this is happening.
It's two plugins. Please show love from my heart, so I'm still screaming for love.
Yeah, on my red carpet. So notice I froze it, and you can see this waveline here is no longer moving.
It's two plugins. Heart, so I'm still screaming for love.
Yeah, on my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagine. And because on this one, I kind of kept the weight of it straight as it was. Here, I've just turned it up a little bit more. Again, that's just my preference for the track. So how you do it will be down to you. I'd recommend you go and play around with the plugins as much as possible. Watch videos if you can, and just mix to taste. I guess in a mix and a master, everything you want to start kind of taking out things first before you're boosting everything up, and also not starting so loud, okay? So what I love by Waves is a plugin, the limiter, because this is what's going to help you in your master from the track distorting. So whenever I turn things on, I'm going to later now add in this limiter. The limiter is just going to give it a limit to where the track can go so that it doesn't distort.
It's two plugins. Please show love from my heart, so I'm still screaming for love.
Yeah, on my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagine. I was living hot parties in a cabin. One about stabbed me, why are they patting? And you can see I've literally just turned it down here, the ceiling of it, to that point. I didn't play with the threshold. I didn't want to play around with it. I wouldn't really recommend doing it in the master. I would have done this in the mix, because it sounded, me trying it personally, sounded like it was sounding really weird to the ears basically. And this part here, the release, I would have it as low as possible. And then now that when I was kind of mixing this track, I was like, okay, this is sounding really good.
I'm running this game on a big laps. I stick to what I know, not mix facts. I'm a pain in the neck like whiplash.
Now, when I listened to this, I was like, okay, this is great, but I want to make sure in the stereo it kind of sounds a little bit more spread. So I use this S1 imager. I really love this because it determines how your vocals and the overall track sit within a speaker almost.
It's two plugins.
Plan, I was mapping, I was on mic, you were dabbing. Now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you're heavyweight now, you were just dragging. Show me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love always wins, lift them up, yeah, I lift that. Shake them off like tic-tacs, chasing gossip, cause they wanna go round and chit-chat. If I put money in your hand, then say thanks, so when I tell you, better kiss that. I got flows that lift taps, I'm running this game on a big laps. I stick to what I know,
No, you don't want it like that.
I'm a pain in the neck like whiplash. I thank God, yeah, I give thanks, I'm great and that, I'm grateful, flying.
So around 127 I kept it. The wider it goes, I don't know, the weird, it just doesn't sound right for a main track. You can go really wide when you're doing like ad-libs or stabs in an actual mix, but in a master, and I don't know what kind of track you're going for if you go that wide, but yeah, there for me at 1.27, that was great. I didn't play with the gains, I didn't do anything else. Again, you would mix to your taste. Then I was like, okay, this is a good mix, but I kind of wanted to pump everything up a bit more, make it in your face. And then I went for the NLS. I've literally just got this plugin recently, so I'm excited for it.
It's two.
Please show love from my heart, so I'm still screaming for love.
Yeah.
On my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagine. I was living hot parties in a cabin.
Look at the difference.
Why are they patting? I was on job while they're napping. Stuck to the plan, I was mapping. I was on mic, you were dabbing. Now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you just dragging. Drew me out all I
Look
wanted was
at
to
that.
give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love always wins.
Absolutely insane. This right here, I used it on the master. It's the NLS, and it's for the master channel. Literally, I just took away some of it, so I trimmed some of it, and then I boosted the drive up all the way to 12 as much as possible. I chose Nevo because I love the sound of it. It gives it a different feel. I didn't play with any of these. I don't know, maybe if you want certain like lower ends to stand out, you could, but like I said, in the mix you probably would have done that. I wouldn't necessarily play with anything in the master here. And then because I've just boosted everything up,
Slow down, feels real. Had to fall down.
luckily there's no actual distortion at the moment. But if I was to turn this bit up, so don't be fooled, turn up this channel here, you're gonna see the red literally.
When I tell you better kiss that, I got flows that lift taps. I'm running this game on my big laps.
There you have it. It was there. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this back down, and what did I say I'm gonna add? A limiter. Anytime I'm boosting things, this is what really mixing is, and I'm learning as I'm going along. You're just boosting, you're compressing, and you're EQing. You're going back and forth constantly. It's almost like you can never end as well. So now I'm gonna add the limiter. So you add, take away, but it works. It works. So I added the limiter, brought down the ceiling of it going out.
Dabbing, now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you're heavyweight now, you were just
So I just
dragging.
turned down.
Drew me out all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that?
Okay, so I just turned down the out ceiling some more, but I love what the NLS did because it gave it a thickness that didn't exist, and kind of an analog effect to make it sound like a radio track almost, you know, not just radio, like a finished track people are going to want to listen to. And then, what would the CLA plug into, this compressor? I'm going to show you what it sounds like.
Always wins, lift them up, yeah, I lift that. Shook them off like tic tacs, chasing gossip, cause they wanna go round and chit chat. If I put money in your hand, then say thanks. So when I tell you, better kiss that. I got flows that lift taps. I'm running this game on my big laps. I stick to what I know, not mixed facts. I'm a pain in the neck like whiplash. I thank God, yeah, I give thanks, I'm praying that. I'm grateful, flying out late.
Okay, so it's turn it up again. It's boosted it, but it's actually compressing it at the same time. I turned down my input to the amount that the stereo signal's being picked up. So I turned down the overall level, and I just boosted up the output. I made the attack come in really, really quickly. I wanted it to capture it as quick as possible and release it slower. So I wanted to hold on to the track as much as possible, right? In doing that, of course, the track starts clipping because I have boosted everything, because you can see I turned up the output. So what did I do? But it's not a bad thing I boosted it, as long as I'm going to tackle it with the limiter.
It's too pluggy.
Plan, I was mapping, I was on mic, you were dabbing. Now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you're heavyweight now, you were just dragging. Drew me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love always wins, lift them up, yeah, I lift that. Shook them off like tic tacs, chasing gossip, cause they wanna go round and chit chat. If I put money in your hand, then say thanks. So when I tell you, better kiss that. I got flows that lift.
Alright, cool. I'm happy because you can see there's no clipping, right? Oh, by the way, you can see I keep turning this area down. I think if you just press, if you press option and click the actual bounce area, it'll go down to 0. Something that I learned. So option and just click this area. Yeah, I always bring the stereo out to 0 when I'm mixing, and then turn it up because I just don't want to mix loud. You want to mix low and hear it boosting. I can't, it's like you don't, if you mix everything loud, it's just, you're gonna be a bit confused by what the actual mix is sounding like, and you might mix it too loud as well. So after all that, I was like, great, I've now boosted everything up. I'm like, I think it's important I re-add an EQ, because now we've boosted a lot of things, a lot of frequencies are gonna come back out, but we want to get rid of those, right? So I just added the F6 again, stereo. This is by Waves. I got rid of these. This is so nice, this plugin, because it can get rid of unwanted frequencies here, and you can still turn up parts of the channel. So I did that.
It's too
So I'm still screaming for love. On my record, carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagined. I was living half-hearted in a cabin. Wanna backstab me, why they patting? I was on job while they napping. Stuck to the plan, I was mapping. I was on mic, you were dabbing. Now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you heavyweight, now you were just dragging. Drew me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love always wins, lift for love, yeah, I live that. Shook 'em off like tic-tacs, chasing gossip, cause they wanna go round and
Mixing is actually insane because you can see when I was turning it on and off, because I boosted everything in the S6, I could hear the distortion more clearly. So always go to the EQ to take away things, just to level things back out, because it's going to be distorted, it's going to sound muddy to the ears. So I love the EQ, especially this S6. It is brilliant. Then I got excited because I've as well just purchased the vocal rider from Waves. This plugin right here is so dope because you can control where you want the frequency of the track or your vocals in the actual mix to start and end. It's like an EQ, it's a compressor EQ at the same time. It is phenomenal. And I just chose kind of a range here and played around with these parts like this to where I wanted the track to sit. You would do the same thing. I was just trying to show you how you play around. I never really play with the output. You can maybe when you're mixing the vocals. So I'll show you with it on and off.
It's too.
now you heavyweight, now you were just dragging. Drew me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love always wins, live for love, yeah, I live that. Shook 'em off like tic-tacs, chasing gossip, cause they wanna go round and chit.
So you can see the automation kicking in here. I've selected a range where I want everything to sit, and it's really boosted up this higher end frequency and just made the track sound again more kind of leveled and back to where we want it. Also it keeps it nice and clean is what I'm trying to get to. So we got the vocal rider, and of course when I play the vocal rider you could hear it turned it up. So I'm just going to add the limiter, same thing again, and then just turn down the outseeding, and just for luck, just for the cherry, and the icing on top, and the dinner I'm about to eat, you just added one last EQ. Again, this is by Waves, and I just turned down some frequencies that were peaking.
It's too.
I got flows that lift taps. I'm running this game on my big laps. I stick to what I know, not mix facts.
You can see that here. Again, you would play around and mix to your taste by looking at these waves and see maybe where things are becoming or sounding distorted. And that's exactly how you mix, you master a track. I'm going to play it.
Drew me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love comes round, but it kills. Love kills, but I'll never die. Love my bills, I love my spill. That's my wish goodbye, my heart broke, but I keep showing love from my heart. So I'm
See how clean that master sounds. It is absolutely phenomenal. Should we play it without all these effects that I did? Oh, and by the way, I went to the highest parts, and you can see here I've turned up the stereo channel and there was no red, no clipping, no distortion. Make sure your track does not distort. You do not want your track distorting. All right, so turn it off.
It's too plug.
We're gonna play it now and see what it sounds like. Oh, look at the distortion's already started.
It's too.
keep showing love from my heart. So I'm still screaming for love. On my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagined. I was living half-hearted in a cabin. Wanna backstab me, why they patting? I was on job.
Now it's a good mix, right? It's clipping. It's a good mix. Everything sounds clean, but it still sounds like raw. In the background is something like some sounds that we need to get rid of, right? It's not clean enough. And then when we go back to these ones, you'll see the difference.
It's too pluggy.
Screaming for love. On my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagined. I was living half-hearted in a cabin. Wanna backstab me, why they patting? I was on job while they napping. Stuck to the plan, I was mapping. I was on mic, you were dabbing. Now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you heavy big girl whip when it's Slayer night. To slow down, see who's real. To fall down, what's the deal? Torn out, what a thrill. Love comes round, but it kills.
Another good thing to do is compare this to other tracks. You could put it in the stereo channel. I'll be honest with you, I like to just listen to them away in my headphones. Headphones give such a great indication Like, I use these Beats ones because I think they're really good. They give me an indication, and also literally just playing it through your iPhone, you can hear whether it's a good mix or not. Sometimes through the speakers you can't tell, unfortunately. I play on multiple output things as stereos, like, you know, your stereo, your phone, your headphones, your car speakers. I play it on loads of different ones, so play it there and compare it to different tracks and see how that sounds. But I feel like no matter how much you try and compare mix to someone else's track, you have to listen to your own track and just mix it and then compare it afterwards and see, okay, is it sitting correct? What can you do? Otherwise you'll be trying to mix it like that track and you might just get fed up. But it is a good tip to compare it to other tracks. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you. I just wanted to show you how I mix the track. I've got some new projects dropping, and this is one of the songs that's going to be on there. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Lots more coming, lots more footage coming, and big up you. Lockdown, be safe, be happy, love ya.
It's too pluggy.
Abel the Plug.
Renzo made this beat.
Had to slow down, see who's real. Had to fall down, what's the deal? Torn out, what a thrill. Love comes round, but it kills. Love kills, but I'll never die. Love my bills, I love my spill. That's my wish goodbye, my heart broke, but I keep showing love from my heart. So I'm still screaming for love. On my red carpet, fly like Aladdin. They couldn't see, but I kind of imagine. I was living half-hearted in a cabin. Wanna backstab me, why they patting? I was on job while they're napping. Stuck to the plan, I was mapping. I was on mic, you were dabbing. Now you all shot when I'm bagging. Now you're heavyweight, now you were just dragging. Drag me out, all I wanted was to give back. Dug a hole for yourself, I can't dig that. I forgave once, how did I miss that? Love always wins, live for love, yeah, I live that. Shook 'em off like tic-tacs, chasing gossip, cause they wanna go round and chit-chat. If I put money in your hand, then say thanks. So when I turn you, better kiss that. I got flows that lift taps. I'm running this game, I'm on big laps. I stick to what I know, not mixed facts. I'm a pain in the neck like whiplash. I thank God, yeah, I give thanks and pray at night. I'm grateful, flying out late at night. I make tunes like late at night, and I pull up in a big girl whip when it's late at night. To slow down, see who's real. Had to fall down, what's the deal? Torn out, what a thrill. Love comes round, but it kills. Love kills, but I'll never die. Love my bills, I love my spill. That's my wish goodbye, my heart broke, but I keep showing love from my heart. So I'm still screaming for love. I love myself, I love my company. I don't want them, they ain't no fun for me. I know what they are, they're on to me. I know that they won't come for me. It's over now, they're done to me. On big moves, no stopping me. I feel so good on top of me. Only God above me. Pulling in a McLaren, something they can't imagine. Pulling in a wagon, love myself, I'm tired. To slow down, see who's real. Had to fall down, what's the deal? Torn out, what a thrill. Love comes round, but it kills. Love kills, but I'll never die. Love my bills, I love my spill. That's my wish goodbye, my heart broke, but I keep showing love from my heart. So I'm still screaming for love.
It's too pluggy.
Abel the Plug.
Renzo made this beat.